AM 1480 WLEA, the Newsmaker Show. Here's Ryan O'Neill.
And very glad to have with us today Hornell IDA official. You're a consultant, right, Shawn? And Steuben County Democrat Chairman Shawn Hogan. Shawn, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Brian. It's good to be with you.
I almost got tripped up because I almost said Hornell Mayor Shawn Hogan, as I had to say for many years on the Newsmaker show, Shawn. I wanted to start out with a state issue. The state attorney general's race, the debate for that is tonight on Spectrum's news channel. Wondering if you have any thoughts on that. Do you have any favorites in that race?
Well, the State Democratic Committee endorsed Tish James, who is the public advocate from New York City. But there are a number of candidates, of course, Zephyr Teachout, Sean Patrick Maloney, Alicia Eve, who is from Western New York, Buffalo area, and Tish James. I think they're all strong candidates. They're all viable. The state convention, Tish James was the one that garnered the votes of the state committee people. So I think she's the odds-on favorite, especially since she has a public record in New York City, and that's where most of the votes will come from the primary election. So I think she's the odds-on favorite. I think Zephyr Teachout might run strong. If she's more of the left-leaning candidate. And, of course, then you have the current Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney, who is quite popular in the Hudson Valley.
Yes, I was surprised he's not running for Congress again. I'm surprised that Sean Patrick Maloney got into the AG's race. By the way, if I could make a prediction, Sean Patrick Maloney by far will probably be have the best debating skills. He's very quick on his feet.
No, yeah, he is. He's pretty impressive. And he not the first run for Attorney General. He could be a surprising candidate. That's an interesting race. So we'll have to wait and see. And I think he's the only candidate really that has the money to really do a campaign, an aggressive campaign on media. And he's been running some pretty powerful TV ads of late. So we'll see. Interesting.
Now, we know that your favorite in the upcoming debate on CBS New York City TV at Hofstra University is the debate between Governor Cuomo and his primary challenger, Cynthia Nixon. We know that you'll be rooting for Governor Andrew Cuomo in that one. And like I said about Sean Patrick Maloney, from what I've seen of Cynthia Nixon in media clips, my best guess is that the governor, even though the incumbents don't usually like to debate, the governor will probably be the better at debating.
Well, yeah, I believe, obviously I anticipate she'll attack Cuomo on the fact that members of his administration, have been convicted of corruption with the Buffalo Bay, and they'll attack the governor on that. And I don't think she'll attack the governor on the SAFE Act because she's really far left. Obviously every politician has his faults and has his weaknesses, and the governor is no exception to that. But I'm a strong supporter of Governor Cuomo because he has really paid attention to upstate New York, and particularly he has paid attention to the southern tier of New York. And I think it's evidence of what's going on in Hornell with his a real strong support for Alstom and the Acela contract. He came here in December of 2016 and presented a $30 million check to Alstom to help them be competitive in the Amtrak contract. He is come up with $64 million to help us build a new hospital here in Warnell. He has been very committed to our region and particularly our community. And I think that he has really made a difference in upstate New York. He realizes that upstate Western New York has been ignored for 40, 50 years, and he made it a point to invest money and invest in programs. He gets criticized no matter what he does, but as far as I'm concerned, the proof is in the pudding. He has delivered for Hornell. He's delivered for our region. He's delivered for the wine industry. He's delivered for the craft brewery industry, which has, been huge growth, seen huge growth in New York State. A lot of people find ways to dislike him. I've found a lot of ways to praise him and appreciate what he's done, and I think he deserves another 4-year term.
It was just on the Wall Street Journal's website a little bit earlier, and it was saying that they've got an interesting headline, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. The headline is, "Look who's supporting the NRA against Cuomo," and it goes on to say that the ACLU is standing up against Mr. Cuomo in support of the National Rifle Association. That from the Wall Street Journal. Did you have any thoughts on that?
No, I think what you're talking about is the fact that in New York State, the insurance department decertified the insurance for that would insure concealed carry gun owners, and they found that was illegal, and it was a big part of the NRA's revenue source. And I assume the ACLU has taken up the cause because they feel that was improper, but I'm not sure if that's the case or not.
On the teachers' union vote, and this is a question that I had yesterday for Steuben County Republican Chairman Joe Sempolinsky when Sempolinsky was on yesterday morning. Shawn Hogan, Cynthia Nixon, Governor Andrew Cuomo, who do you think that the teachers' unions will go with on the September 13th primary?
Well, I think that obviously they're going to go with the odds-on favorite to win, which would be Cuomo. Cuomo's record of, how much money can you continue to give to education? We lead the nation. We lead the nation in how much money comes from the state budget to education. The problem isn't the amount of money that we put to education. It's how it's distributed. Because of the political makeup of the state Senate, a lot of the state funding goes to these hugely wealthy school districts on Long Island and Hudson Valley, and that to allow them to have these grandiose school districts with programming that would only be the envy of rural school districts. And that's the problem. If you go to a county like Allegheny County, where there's not a lot of tax base to support education funding, and even to a lesser degree in Steuben County, a lot of the money, how it's distributed into school districts, is unfair, and that's what is being challenged, because New York State, leads the nation. And when I say leads the nation, and leaps and bounds over the rest of the nation and what we spend per pupil. But it's not getting to the right sources. It's not getting to the school districts in inner cities, and it's not getting to rural districts. There's the rub, and that's all controlled by the legislature. And I think once the elections, the smoke clears, there will be an effort to try to correct that. But like I say, certainly New York State doesn't short shrift education spending. It's just how it's distributed.
Talking live this morning with Steuben County Democratic Chairman Shawn Hogan. Shawn, with Cynthia Nixon's presence in the race, and then you've got Republican Mark Molinaro, Libertarian Larry Sharp, and a few other candidates running for governor as well. The number of candidates, does that help or hurt Cuomo?
Well, anytime there's multiple candidates, it's going to siphon off some votes from the front runner. I don't know if Cynthia Nixon's going to stay in the race on the Working Families Party or not. If she does, that could hurt the Working Families Party because if they don't draw the number of votes that is required, they could lose their party status. They could lose their place on the ballot, which happened years ago to the Liberal Party in New York State. They didn't get the number of votes that were required to get in the general election, so they lost their status as a party, and the Liberal Party has kind of gone away. The reason the Conservative Party continues, even though there's very few registered conservatives, the reason they continue to keep their status is because they're always endorsing the Republican, and they're going to get their 50,000 votes statewide on the line to maintain their party status. That didn't happen with the Liberal Party years ago. And now the Working Family Party, because they are not running with the Democratic running, I think it may be problematic for them to get the 50,000 votes to maintain their party status. So I think Zephyr Teachout has agreed if she didn't win the primary, somehow she would give up the Working Family Party's line. But I don't see that happening. So,
talking live with Shawn Hogan here on the Newsmaker Show. When we get back, we're going to talk about Tracy Mitrano and her race against Congressman Tom Reed and the two candidates who are going to primary each other on September 13th for the Tom O'Mara seat in the state Senate. Stay with us.
Davidson's Furniture.
This is Mike Davidson, and Labor Day means furniture and financing savings at Davidson's Furniture. You'll get a free box spring with any Serta iComfort set, plus 2 years interest-free financing. You'll find many floor models marked half price, plus 2 years interest-free financing. All Broyhill living room is tagged 10 to 25% off, plus 2 years interest-free financing. There's no better time to buy new furniture or mattresses than the Labor Day sale going on at Davidson's Furniture, plus 2 years interest-free financing. Come in today.
And now checking in with meteorologist Rob Carroll, who says hot and humid.
Lots of heat and humidity, Brian. Unusually warm for the next 24 to 48 hours. In fact, the National Weather Service has the area under a heat advisory. It goes into effect later this morning at 11 a.m. It'll continue through 8 p.m. this evening. We've got a Bermuda high in tandem with high pressure in the upper parts of the atmosphere over the eastern United States. That leads to sunshine today through high cloudiness and a high of 90 to 95. You factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like about 95 to 100 this afternoon. Generally clear tonight. Some high clouds will continue to drift through. Warm overnight, lows near 70. We'll have sunshine tomorrow, perhaps a late-day thunderstorm, 85 to 90. Fairly strong cold front heads our way tomorrow night into Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms develop tomorrow night. Those will drop down to about 65. There could be some more showers and thunderstorms Thursday. It turns cooler, 70 to 75. We're back to partial sun with highs in the 70s, much more comfortable by Friday, Brian.
And we're on with Steuben County Democratic Chairman Shawn Hogan. Did you have any thoughts on the Tracy Mitrano race for the Tom Reed seat in the House, Shawn?
Well, Tracy Mitrano is a pretty dynamic candidate. I've heard her speak during the primary election with the other Democratic candidates. I had the pleasure of hearing her Saturday in Hornell at the Steuben County Democratic Picnic. And she really rallied the crowd. She's a good speaker. She has a great message. And she's going to be a candidate that is going to be, tough to deal with as far as the Reed is concerned. She seems to have momentum, and she has a real extensive grassroots organization. And she's running the campaign on a shoestring, She's being outspent, will continue to be outspent by Reed, but she's really resonating with the voters, and there is a sense that the voters want change. And I'm talking about Democrats, Republicans, wholesale across the board. They're tired of what's going on in Washington. They're tired of the tribal politics, and they want to see the Congress work for the benefit of the American people. And there is a major wave coming, whether it's a blue wave or whatever you want to call it, but there is definitely going to be a big change in the Congress come after the November elections.
Do you have any sense of if the political side story, where the man from Painted Post is accused of Gary something or other, McCaskill or something like that, a guy from Painted Post accused of taking down a Tom Reed political sign that said "Extreme Ithaca Liberal," and taking that sign home, and then the Reed campaign had a electronic tracking device on the political sign, and they fought it, and they're prosecuting the guy. Do you have any sense of how and if that issue might play out in the campaign?
Well, first of all, I don't think that Reverend McCaslin is going to go off into the sweet night. He feels, he is a retired Baptist minister. He is indicating he was picking up the signs after the primary and, as instructed, getting them off the public right away. And he happened to pick up the Extreme Ithaca Liberal sign that had a tracker on it. First of all, what does Extreme Ithaca Liberal mean, and why is that a political sign? And why would anyone put a tracker on it? That just goes to show you the mentality of the Reed campaign, kind of like a dirty tricksters. They've been using this Extreme Ithaca Liberal mantle for the last 2 or 3 campaigns because they think it works. And they're trying to make liberal a nasty word. Some of those liberal policies have brought you Social Security, which everyone embraces. They've brought you Medicare, which everyone embraces. It's brought benefits to the working people as far as the black lung disease and the coal miners, and it's helped so much people. So I don't cringe when I heard the word liberal. I think the liberal policies have brought a lot of benefits to the working men and women of this country and beyond. So I think that this court battle is going to backfire on the Reed campaign and really expose the dirty tricks and some of the people that work with the campaign that people aren't going to tolerate. So my advice to them is to let this thing go and let it go quickly.
Shawn, on the state senate primary coming up on Thursday, September 13th, you've got Mike LaSalle and Amanda Kersgessner, the Tompkins County Democrat. Mike LaSalle, he's Schuyler County, I believe.
Right.
How do you think that one's going to play out?
Two good candidates. I think that Mike LaSalle is the more experienced. He's a Schuyler County legislator. He's a lawyer. He's been an environmental activist, particularly with the LPG storage center over in Seneca Lake near Watkins Glen. He opposed that, and because of his opposition, he killed that project, which was opposed by the majority of people in Schuyler County. They didn't want propane gas being stored underground near a jewel, a environmental jewel such as Seneca Lake. So he has some experience, and he has been an activist in regards to the area. So I think Probably he has a little bit more experience, but this Amanda Kirsch-Gessner is a young woman who has a good message, and she's running a great campaign. So I would say it's anyone's guess who's going to win the primary on September 13th.
And final question for you. Did you have any thoughts on the Assemblyman Joe Arrigo, Marjorie Burns campaign?
Well, I don't have any dog in that hunt. That's a pretty nasty campaign. They've attacked Joe Arrigo on health issues, and Arrigo has attacked Byrne on, being and making illegal campaign contribution for the Conservative Party donation. I think that, they're going to beat each other up, and one's going to get the Republican nomination, and the other is going to get the Conservative nomination, and then we have a Democrat in the race, Barbara Baer, who ran before, who was a very capable woman, an attorney, and if there's going to be two people vying for the Republican or Conservative nomination and one Democrat, I kind of like the Democrat's chances, Barbara Baer, but we'll see. It's a nasty campaign, and it's unfortunate that it's evolved into that.
With that, we're out of time. Always great having you on. Steuben County Democratic Chairman and Hornell IDA consultant, Shawn Hogan. We didn't get to any Hornell issues, but we learned plenty this morning from you. Thanks so much for coming on.
All right, Brian. Thank you.
AM 1480 WLEA Hornell.